Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. It's wonderful to have you with us here today at USA Global TV and Radio. We are expanding across the globe, and I'm super grateful for all the opportunities that I have had to meet new team members and existing team members. I'm actually going to be going to London and Dubai, meeting some additional team members. So look forward for more information about that later this year. So our show today is the Mallorca Connection. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and today I will be interviewing my dear friend and business partner. He is our country manager for Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. So if you're looking to take your voice across the globe, why not join us with your own television show? Roland Friedl is a entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. He is a lot of fun to be with, by the way. He's got a great personality. And if you're looking for a tour guide in Austria, he's your person to go to. And he also has a beautiful dog, Aloha. And he's been living in a motorhome for, I think, 3+ years now. Not everybody can live in an RV and be extremely productive, extremely healthy like he is. So I'm going to be asking him some questions. If you missed it, we just did a show together. It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. And Roland's probably done 300 or 400 or 500 episodes of various TV shows here. Go over to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, and Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and you can just put in his name and you'll see all the episodes that have come up. So let's welcome the star of our show, Mr. Roland Friedl. Hello.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. Hello to the audience. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us. Cool to be back.
It's good to have you back. And I always think it's important that we just get this out there so people understand why the Mallorca Connection, why that name?
Yeah, the Mallorca Connection came because when I started with USA Global TV and Radio, I guess in September it's going to be 4 years now. You asked me what kind of topic you want to talk about, and I said, oh, there's so many topics, and I have such a broad experience and knowledge because I'm so curious to learn and experience, and so I couldn't say this or this or this or this. So I said, and at the time, I've been living on this beautiful island of Mallorca, which I left 3 years ago. And so we called it the Mallorca Connection because Mallorca has been my home base for 14 years. So we call it the Mallorca Connection. And to be honest, the first interview guests on my show all have been living on Mallorca too.
And from what I understand, there are some A-list celebrities who also have a place in Mallorca. I think Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. And you met them at some point, didn't you?
I met him 3 times on a golf course and for dinner. Yeah, the reason why Michael is often in Mallorca, because his first wife, Diane, she is Mallorquin. And they have a fabulous house there, and they're still good friends. And so sometimes he's coming over. We've set John's tour and the kids, and he's playing golf in Andratx. And I don't name the restaurant because it's a very small coastal restaurant. And yeah, and I met him two times on the golf course and once in the restaurant. Yeah. Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Sorry?
What were those experiences like?
He's a very cool guy when you meet him. absolutely in private. Very cool guy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to meet him. That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about you. So you left Mallorca. You already had this motorhome, and it's not just a regular motorhome. It's a pretty souped up, pretty well endowed, I should say, recreational vehicle. And you decided to go and have a wireless life, which you've always been promoting. So tell us about that initial move to leave Mallorca, put your stuff in storage, and then make the RV your real actual home.
Okay. So first of all, my RV for Europe, it's quite a large one. For the US, it's quite a smaller one because you have much larger ones because you have broader roads and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's actually my motorhome is designed for 6 persons, so it's 3 double beds, so it's quite large. So for me and my Lord, it's plenty of space. What happened in Mallorca? Yeah, I moved to Mallorca. It was always my dream to live on the seaside. So I moved there in 2008, and after 14 years, my second wife, she moved out, and then my girlfriend was flying in and flying out, and then we separated. And I was thinking about what the heck I'm doing with this large house. It was a huge house, and it was a beautiful one. I loved it, and we hosted a lot of yoga retreats there, and yeah, it was a cool place. But I'm not attached to things. So when I was alone in this huge house, I said, what I'm doing. And then I had some issues with the house and stuff like that. So I said, maybe I find another place on Mallorca. Let's do this. And then I said, there's still my motorhome because I ordered it in 2017. I got it in 2018. So the motorhome was already there. I moved it. I used it for vacations, but I always left it in Austria at the dealer's shop there. So it was there over the winter, and I was flying in to Austria, and from there I went on vacation. So it was in Austria. So I said, it was always there. So there's this huge motorhome, and it was a kind of dream always to live full-time in a motorhome, at least for a year. And I was watching some YouTube videos from people who did it. And yeah, and in 2022, actually Christmas 2021, I decided I do something different. I'm not looking for a new house or for a different place. I moved into my motorhome for 1 year. I traveled down to Portugal because in my mind I was thinking about maybe I move to Portugal. So I left Mallorca. I moved into my motorhome. I traveled to, first of all, I spent a few months in Austria with my family. Then I moved down to France, to Spain, and to Portugal, traveling around 7 months. And it was beautiful. Portugal, beautiful. Sorry, guys. Beautiful. Portugal is beautiful, but I decided, no, I'm not settling down here. Not only because of Portugal, it was because I enjoyed it so much to be on the road, to be free, to be totally independent and make my own choices and by myself. So yeah, that's how it started. And to be honest, in the beginning, I was very scared for 2 reasons. I'm very honest here. First of all, it was the first time in my life since my 15 years old. Since I'm 15 years old, I always have been until 56, 57. I've become 61 now. I've always been in long-term relationships, and it's the first time in my life that I've been single, and first time in my life that I had no house. So it was a little bit scary at the beginning, but it's everything in life. You try out something new, you step out of your comfort zone by doing one step, another step. I said, oh, it's not dangerous. It's not scary. Another step, oh, I love it. Another step, oh, it's great. I don't want to go back. So it's like everything in life. It's getting out of the comfort zone. And now it's over 3 years now already. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that about you. And it's so interesting because you completely changed your life and you love what you're doing. And many people are too afraid to change anything in their life. And for me, I find that wherever I am, I find happiness. I find, I've done a lot of traveling and I'm happy wherever I am there. When I'm here, I'm happy. When I'm at the gym, I'm happy. I just find ways to show up and to love what I'm doing. And I know that you love what you're doing. And I know together what we're doing on this platform, we love as well. So I think that's what makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to know. And I think we always have to try out things, getting out of the comfort zone and trying out things. I guess we only regret things that we've never done. And a friend of mine, she was working with in a hospital with people who are going to pass away the next days. So she is supporting these persons, and she told me none of them ever said, "Oh, I regret I didn't work enough. Oh, I regret I didn't buy this." They always say, "Oh, I regret that I didn't go on this trip. I regret that I didn't have more time for my beloved ones, for my kids, for my friends, whatever." So that's what I found out too in my years. I've been very proud because I come from a lower middle class family. I was very proud about what I reached in life, about the success in business. I was very proud about all the material stuff, a large house or before a penthouse, luxury cars, sports cars, convertibles, whatever, motorbike, Rolexes, there's fancy stuff, fancy clothes, business class, first class flights, 5-star hotels and everything, fancy restaurants. I really enjoyed it, to be honest, because I didn't inherit the money. I was working for it hard. But after a while, I found out, is this everything in life? Does this really make me happy? And the other thing is, a friend of mine asked me a very tough question. He said, "Roland, who are you?" And I said, this. No. He said, "Roland, who are you? Not your profession, not your role, not your achievements, not your house, not your cars. Who are you?" This was a tough question. And the journey for me really began to find out who really am as a being without all this material stuff. Was when I started 3 years ago moving in full-time in Mallorca and giving away the house, the cars, everything, really everything. And it was a tough process. And by the way, if somebody is thinking about moving into a motorhome, not forever, but maybe for a year or two, whatever, people always ask, what's the first step to do? First of all, plan it. Yeah, plan it a year, maybe two, plan it. But the first step ever, and that's the first tip and secret I'm giving, is get rid of stuff. That's the first thing. Get rid of stuff first. Because we have too much stuff.
I thought you were going to go on from get rid of stuff.
Yeah, I said, get rid of stuff. That's the first thing. Get rid of stuff. Really, in a house and apartment, I don't know. There's a website you can download a calendar. It's 30 days, and it says day 1, get rid of 1 stuff. Day 2, get rid of 2 things. Day 3, 3, and then so at the end of the month on day 30, get rid of 30 stuff. So at the end, it's 490 something. So it's a hell of stuff you get rid. What I mean by clothes you don't wear anymore. Maybe books you don't read anymore. Stuff that's just hanging around. And the thing is, we are educated in school and from society and from commercials and from the industry. We are only a valuable person when we have things. So we are collecting things, material stuff. A lot of, and it's not about material. I still have material stuff. I like some motorhome. That's not the point. But we have too much. It's just too much. Yeah. I remember I had how you call this, I had a wardrobe. I had 50 suits. I had 200, how you call it, skirts? 200 shirts. I had 250, I will never forget this, silk ties. And I said, what the heck am I doing here? So I tried to get rid of it. Now I have still 1 suit. I still in my motor, because sometimes I see clients, I fly to my clients, or I drive with my motor on the clients. So of course I have a suit for business. Of course I have shirt, proper shoes and everything. But just one, and four business shirts I have. And so it's less and less. It's not against material thing. It's just we collect too much stuff, and we are so scared to lose things.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know myself. I think I've moved 27 times, and every time I have to purge. And of course, my mother had a home after she passed away, and it took me about 2 months to clear out 40 years worth of stuff, and that wasn't her only home. So it is amazing how much stuff we gather, and it feels so liberating to get rid of things. So going back to you and your RV. So the first thing is you're going to make a plan before you move into an RV, and that includes getting rid of stuff. So once you've streamlined how much you have, and by the way, how does a person figure out how much storage space there actually is? They have to actually go look for an RV and figure out what can they afford and where are they going to be traveling with it, and then how much space do they need? So can you share with us, how much space do you have in your current motorhome? Like, where would you have space?
To be honest, much too much. The larger the motorhome, like the larger the house, the more stuff I have. I still have too much stuff with me, to be honest. Because it's quite a large motorhome, and I'm living alone with my dog, so it's still too much. Still too much sports gear, still too much clothes. Yeah, still too much. But anyway, and to be honest, I still have a storage on Mallorca, a huge storage with all the luxury furniture, motorbikes, and racing bikes and whatever. It's still there. I still have it. Because I was thinking when I settle down again, maybe I need the stuff, but I don't miss it now. But to answer your question, I still have too much. Because the modem is quite large, it has a lot of storage, and so you bring more stuff. But my plan is in August, when I'm back in my auntie's house, my plan is to get rid of minimum 30% of the stuff in my motorhome. Maybe do a flea market or donate it, but that's my plan for August, to get rid of 30% of my stuff in my motorhome. Yeah.
Well, I think also we get rid of stuff, but then we replace it because I got plenty of room. I could get more stuff. And there's actually a very famous comedic skit, and I'm trying to think. I think it was done by, I want to say George Carlin, but I don't think it was him. I don't want to say the wrong person, but it's actually about how you have stuff and then you need to get a place to accommodate your stuff. So then you get an apartment, and then you get too much stuff, or you have more people, and now you have to get a house to accommodate all of you. Then the house is stuffed, and you have to get a bigger house because you have more stuff. And it is interesting that if we actually looked at what we would need, and by the way, a quick digression, as you know, where I live, there was a flood, and I had to get whatever stuff I was taking and get out. And the only thing I took some jewelry, I took my computer, and I took 3 pairs of sneakers and a jump rope. So it is interesting what you take when you think, wow, this is all I'm going to be able to have.
Absolutely. I remember around 4 years, for 6 years before I moved to Mallorca. I remember I've been working as a consultant for a self-storage company. My gosh, and I said, this is a business, because people have so much stuff. Even they cannot park their car in the garage because the garage is full with stuff. So self-storage became a huge business. Absolutely. And another thing is, I remember when both my parents have been separated, and they're living in 2 different houses, and both. Actually, my mom, she really was demanding. My dad said he also wants to go in a residency. He doesn't like to live by himself, being alone and cook for himself. So I found a really good place for both of them in a residency. And then I had to give up their homes. And I was alone to really clean everything up, get rid of all the furniture, get rid of all the stuff. And I thought, my goodness, I will never do this to my sons when I pass away. I'll never do this to my son. It was a hell of work for days and days and days to get rid of all the furniture, of all the dishes, of all the clothes, and all the stuff. It was a hell of work. How much stuff my mom and my dad in 2 homes collected. And I said, no, I will never do this to my kids. Never, ever.
No, I feel your pain. As I mentioned, it took me 2 months to clear out my mother's house. The fun thing about it was that you can put stuff up for sale on Facebook or on the local groups that they have. And I think that's fun to see how much people will pay. But of course, that's a lot of work. You have to take 10 pictures and give all the information. And but I did feel some sense of accomplishment when people would come and buy things, because it gives the things a new life. And I love to donate clothes. And, for example, you were mentioning about your ties. At one point, I think when I got divorced, I had 250 pairs of Manolo Blahnik shoes, all stuffed, bagged, boxed with pictures on the front. I mean, it's like insane. It's insane. And of course, I sold a lot of them on eBay. I was running 60 auctions a week, which was fun. But anyway, we get into these traps, I call them. And then we're going to go back to you in the RV. So Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, I don't know if you know him or not, but he's got something on Instagram, which it really is a wake-up call. 90% of all the things that we own, we don't use and don't need. So before you buy anything else, think to yourself, do I really need this, or do I want it? And I'm just wasting money that I could be putting in earning interest somewhere.
Absolutely. And I remember, when I got my motorhome, you need also camping furniture, camping stuff. And I was buying too much stuff that I never used. So I got rid of them and I donated it or sold it on platforms. And now, since the 3 years before I buy something, do I really need it? And I always ask myself, do I need it or do I just want it? What is it? Do I need it or do I want it? And most of the time we just want it. We don't need it. We just want it for any reason. And of course, I still buy stuff because sometimes I have to replace some clothes or some shoes or some technical equipment, of course. But I consume much. I consume less, absolutely less, and it makes me more happy. Yeah, absolutely happy.
Well, I think what's interesting about what you're saying, because I've had this conversation with other people who are single. So I'm single and I don't have any children. You have children, so it's different. But I technically don't have anyone that I have to leave anything to. And I think when you have that kind of mindset, it's a little bit different, because it's almost like, well, I've worked hard for all these years. I'm going to go on this trip. So the trip that I just was on, there were people who actually criticized me for it, saying, why would you spend all that money? Because I like the experience. Like, I'm very interested in experiences and seeing other cultures and meeting, obviously, people on the team. And that's important to me. But to some people, that would be a waste of money. But I look at it like, at this stage of my life, if I've got 25 years left to live, I want to travel and see the world.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, mentioned kids, most of the time we do things and kids are our excuse. I remember when I've been living in Mallorca, I was partner in a hotel in a vineyard, in a winery, quite a successful in Mallorca until 2011, and then I sold my parts. And I thought, that because my other three partners, they had no kids. I was the only guy with kids. So I said, it's a cool idea, investing there, working a little bit there, and it's for my kids. So someone can run the winery, the other one can run the hotel, the other one can do, I don't know, general manager or marketing or whatever. And both of my kids said, no, we don't want this. So within 3 months, I sold my shares. I gave everything away. So what an illusion, building up for something for your kids and then they don't want it. I saw it so many times with friends of mine. For example, a very good friend of mine, his father had a pharmacy shop, and I can get pharmaceuticals in Vienna. And then his father retired, and it is not a pharmacy shop. It's like a supermarket. It's for Austria. It's very huge, very successful. They make a hell of money. And my friend took over because his father retired, and he sold it within a year. 90%. He kept 10% of shares, but he sold 90%. And he did whatever he wanted to do, is surfing, and that's, and it happened to many friends of mine that they feel guilty because they don't want to do what their parents are expecting. So I think we shouldn't do this. And also, it's some people buy or build a huge house for the kids, and then the kids said, no, I don't want to live in this area. I want to do something else. I want to take over the company. I want to take over the house. I have my own life. And I had a clear talk with my kids, and all three said, no, we're not interested in the stuff. We live our own lives. So if you leave some money, it's okay, but no house. For example, my auntie always says I should take over the house of my auntie. And I told my kids, I don't want the house. You should take over. But both my kids said, no, we don't want it. So, yeah, I guess we have to really do what we want to do. But most of the time, we just think we have to do it for our kids. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's interesting that you shared that, because that is the same thing happened in our family. Father and uncle had a successful business and thought that the kids were going to take over, and none of us wanted to take it over. And I think that's kind of uh, continued on. I know that I've had friends who have children, and they'll say the kids don't want grandmom's china, or grandpa's shoes, or whatever the case may be. They don't want any of it. So it really is, it's different than it was before.
Different generation.
Really different. So let's talk about your typical day in the RV. You get up, and what do you do?
Yeah. First of all, what I do is, before I really get up, when I wake, I just look outside about the weather. That's my first thing I do. Second is, I just be grateful for the last night. Grateful for, even not on the camping site, but most of the time I stay free. I'm very rare moments where I go on a camping site, so I stay somewhere free in nature. So first of all, I'm very grateful for having a silent night. I could get a good sleep. There was no noise. There was no robbery. So I was safe and good. Get a good sleep. So that's the first thing in the morning before I really get out of the bed is. It's, for me, the shortest prayer is just say thankful. I'm just very grateful and thankful for the last day, for the night, for the day before, the night, and for the day, the present day that is ahead of me. That's the first thing I do. Second thing is, normally I put on my clothes and then I walk my dog. That's the first thing. We go for a walk between half an hour and an hour, depending on the area. And depending when I start working, that's my morning routine. Getting up with the dog, then back to the motorhome, having a coffee. I have a coffee later just to enjoy it. I always say I don't drink coffee to wake up. I wake up to drink coffee because I love coffee. We met in Vienna, so I love coffee. So I have a coffee, enjoy my coffee. I check my emails, social media accounts, and then I'm working. Well, actually, it's in German. It's called Chancenplaner 2025. And then I have a look what is in my calendar. So this is every week. And it says, for example, Monday, why this day is a chance for me. And then I write down why is a chance for me. Second, what's the most important task of today? What I don't like today to do. And what I'm thankful for. And then I look at my calendar. I do have phone calls, Zoom calls, do a broadcast for USA Global TV and Radio, or whatever. So that's the first thing when I have my coffee, look at my calendar. I still use my smartphone as a calendar, of course, but I'm still old school. I love this because it every week gives me a nice overview about for example, what is my slogan, where is my focus, what is my mission, what are my goals, and stuff like that. So that's what I do in the morning. And so I get up with the sun mostly. So in summer quite early, between 5:30 when it's a nice day. When it's raining outside, maybe I'm still up, but I'm staying a little bit longer in bed. And then Aloha is forcing me to get out anyway. So that's my morning routine. Yeah. Having coffee and a lot of water, checking my stuff. That's my morning routine.
It's a good routine. Why not? That's terrific. It is interesting what people do in the morning. I know I was getting up at 8, and now I've been getting up at 5:30. So I'm getting a lot done, but I feel that I'm always working on this platform. I can't wait to get to the computer so I can start doing things. It's kind of crazy. So
I
that's
know when I'm communicating with you, and I maybe you're 6 hours behind me. I'm 6 days. I said, "Wow, she's still on. It's 2-3 in the morning." And
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I usually get about 8 hours of sleep, believe it or not. I think the last few nights, maybe 6.5. I'm not sure why, but yeah, but I feel great. So then you are working from your motorhome. Tell us about that.
yeah, I'm working from a motorhome, so like broadcasting TV, producing podcasts, doing online coaching or online training for clients online. Or sometimes I travel to clients and see them in person in a hotel or on their venue. So I'm working during the day. Not this week. to be honest. I'm working in the afternoon this week because this week this week and next week I'm more like on vacation. So I do a lot of sports in the morning. Here I do every day. I go on a different venue. I do archery, so I'm shooting on 3D animals. That's what I do in the day before lunch. But normally I work, and around 11 noon I make a break, and then I have my first meal. I call it a breakfast because I'm breaking my fasting because I do 16 to 8 intermittent fasting. So I have a breakfast, or other people call it an early lunch, or between 11 and 12, something like that. I enjoy my lunch. After lunch, I do a short break with Laura. And sometimes I do a napping, to be honest. So I lay down for 15 or 20 minutes, depending on power napping. And then I go back on my work and look at my calendar. What's the next task I'm on? And then I continue my work until 6 p.m., 6 p.m., depending how much it is. And then I do my dinner. Mostly I prepare a barbecue or the air fryer steak, do my dinner, a lot of water. And then I have a break until an hour and a half break. Then if still some work going on, because sometimes I have calls in the evening or some Zoom calls in the evening, I do this. And then I do a late walk with my dog again for at least an hour. And then I go to bed around 10 p.m. 9:30, 10 p.m. That's my thing. In between, I'm this is a normal working day. But sometimes, I work less because I'm driving. I'm moving from another spot to another. So I do driving, or I do cleaning. But to be honest, motorhome is not much cleaning. Or I do my laundry. So I also have some daily stuff like in a household, or organize food or stuff like that. But I call it wasting. I'm wasting less and less time in daily stuff like cleaning, household, because it's not because I'm a messy. It's very clean here, but it's just a few square meters. It's not large like a house, so it's easy to clean. That's very fast. That's really appreciate that I don't have much cleaning stuff like that. So yeah, that's a normal day. So I have a normal life, like a person that is working from home, like is remotely working from his own house. I just do it in my motorhome, and the difference is that my motorhome, my house is flexible, so I move it from another space to another space. Maybe I go to the mountains, I go to the lakeside, I go to the river, I go to the seaside. I'm changing the spots, but the rest of the day is quite normal, quite normal.
So what do you have to do in order to find a place that you can go? And do these campsites or campgrounds, do they take reservations? Is it first come, first serve?
No, I never make reservations for campsites. Only when I go to Vienna. Only when I go to Vienna, because it's always crowded. That's the only reservation I made 2 times in Vienna. No, never ever. Because, for example, for this, I left my auntie's house on Friday morning, and I'm now on a tour through Austria, Switzerland, Germany for the next 4 weeks. And I planned the first 2 weeks where I will stay overnight in free, so we find a spot against free. But 50% of my plan is different, so I'm very flexible. For example, I'm spending the night here on a place that was not on my plan. I was planning to stay somewhere different, but the network is not good, so I'm here. No, I'm not planning in advance a lot, to be honest, because I love flexibility. I love freedom. Sometimes I go there to a spot, think it's nice, and I said no, it's not. It looks nice on maybe on internet. It looks nice on a YouTube video, but I don't like the spot. Not for me. And sometimes I find a spot that was not in my mind, and I said, oh, that's beautiful here. Let's stay here. It's safe to stay. I'm allowed to stay. There's no signs that said no. The network is good because I always need a good network for working. So I'm very flexible. I'm very flexible on that.
And when you say flexible, you're also a yoga enthusiast. Do you practice any yoga in or out of the motorhome to help you with, your travels? Because you're driving a lot, right? So that gets to your back even and your posture.
Well, I do a lot of walking with my dog, a minimum of 10,000 steps. Mostly it's more, 12, 15. Yesterday it was 16,000 steps. So I do a lot of walking with my dog. Yoga, I don't practice asana that much anymore, to be honest. Absolutely not. I do a lot of meditation. Do a lot of breathing, but I do the meditation, the breathing, mostly during the walk. So I be very in the present moment. Or when I wash my dishes, it's also meditation. What does it mean, meditating? Meditating means being in the present moment. I just focus on what I'm doing. Not my mind is not going around. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow, what I did yesterday, what I'm eating in 5 minutes. I just focus on my work. That's for me meditation. So I do it with my cleaning my dishes, with my walking my dog. I do my breathing exercise when I walk my dog. So I try to really be aware about my breathing, inhaling and exhaling, being aware about that. I do a lot of sports, so I don't have any issues, back pain or something. Besides walking, I do my workout. So I have kettlebells with me, I have TRX with me, I have rubber bands with me. So I do a little bit workout every day. I do stretching every day, a little bit. When I mean a little bit, for me it's half an hour, and it's 30 minutes more than many people do. So I don't do that much, but I do it on a regular basis. So I don't have any issues from driving with neck or back pain or so. Not at all. Not at all.
That's terrific. That's true, because I'm very active myself, and I'll find if I'm driving for 2 or 3 hours, all of a sudden I kind of get like numbness, kind of numb on my one side. And I know other people have this too. And I don't practice yoga anymore either, but I was thinking it might make sense to start doing it. Maybe I'm doing too much weightlifting or too much spinning or something. I don't know. But anyway, so then at the end of your day, do you ever have any concerns about crime? I know that you did have something happen to you. Do you feel just as safe in the motorhome as you did when you were in your actual home?
Well, I feel safe in my motor, absolutely. And anyway, before it was Abayomi, my Ridgeback. Now it's Aloha, this guarding dog with me, so they're absolutely protective. So I feel absolutely safe. I mean, it happened to me. I remember before we broadcasted a show. I guess it was 2 years ago, something like that. When I was in North Spain, somebody stole my Rolex from my arm. I guess half an hour before we did a show. Of course, there can always happen something, but I trust the process. Sometimes, not in Austria, but sometimes in France or in Spain, I park my motorhome for the night and then have just a feeling. I cannot explain it. It's a feeling it's not a good spot, and then I leave and find a different spot. But in general, I feel absolutely safe, and I feel more safe in nature than in a town, because nobody is looking for you somewhere in the forest nowhere to rob you. It's always happening close to towns, to large towns. It's always happening on a recreation space on the highway, and I avoid these places. So when I'm going to a town like in Vienna when we met. Or I go other towns for business, or I want to do some sightseeing, like in Barcelona, in Paris, or wherever. I go on a camping site where it's safe, and I take public transportation to go downtown. No, I feel safe, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. I'm glad to hear that. Well, we've actually come to the end of our show, and I'd love to have you share a little bit about what you're doing for people who are not aware. But as the country manager, can you talk a little bit about this?
Yes, I'm very looking forward to, and thanks to trusting in me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what happened is a few months ago I did some interviews in German language, because my interview guests felt more comfortable in their mother language in German, because in Austria, German, and Switzerland we speak German in different dialects, but we speak German. And so the idea came up, sorry, together with you, Dr. JACALYN, to expand USA Global TV and Radio in different areas. And so I'm very happy to become like the country partner for the DACH region, the German-speaking countries in Europe, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and support people who want to run their own or host their own weekly show and USA Global TV and Radio and streaming show, and to get more presence or get a broader audience and share their wisdom, share their knowledge, share what they are doing. And I'm very excited about that. That USA Global TV and Radio is not only broadcasting in English, but in the future also in German. I know that they will come in Polish, maybe in France, and in French and other languages. So we go more global. And I guess the advantage for our interview guests is they can speak in the mother language to feel safe. And the other thing is that we give the opportunity to people also to host shows in their mother language and spread their knowledge and experience, as I said. Yeah, I'm very thrilled. I'm very looking forward. I get the best is yet to come. And if someone is just listening and wants to run his or her own German-speaking weekly show about whatever topic is, don't hesitate to contact me. Best is send me an email, and then we find a time on Calendly where we talk about what you're doing, what you want to do, what your plans are, what your commitment looks like. So send me an email at office@rolandfriedl.com. I will spell it for you guys. office@ROLANDFRIEDL.com. office@rolandfriedl.com. Send me an email. And I have to say something is also for beginners. If you have absolutely no experience in hosting a show, don't hesitate, man. For me, it was the same. It happened 4 years ago that a friend of mine asked me if I want to be a guest on his show. So I did it. And then Dr. JACALYN KERBECK contacted me if I want to run my own shows, and I said, yeah, why not? Because I always try new things that get out of my comfort zone. And I can only say it really was an amazing journey so far, and it will be more, because you learn a lot. It's an amazing community. I made some good friends. I learned a lot from my colleagues. I learned a lot from Dr. JACALYN. I learned a lot good people. For example, Red. I just mentioned Red because I will bring my American book with Red together. So it's a huge opportunity for you, for personal growth, to show your face to a broader audience worldwide in your mother language. You can also share your wisdom, experience, show your work, and you learn on your own, and you participate in this amazing community, or what we call our global USA Global TV and Radio family. So don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. And I'd just like to add that you and others who've been with me, we've helped build this brand. So somebody coming on now doesn't have to do all the legwork that we did in the beginning. So now is a perfect time for people to join us.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. We are going to sign off. Dr. Madeline Chan has her Talking Heads episode that's coming up right after this. Anything you want to share before we go?
No, I can already tell people, especially for the German-speaking market, the best is yet to come, because it's something brand new in Europe. It's not very common in Europe, streaming TV. It's an amazing opportunity. And when you're the first, you learn a lot, and be there from the beginning. It will change your business.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everyone. If you happen to be watching from our YouTube channels, please do subscribe. We'd love to have you get notified about all of our shows. Roland, I'll see you later. Enjoy your evening. And bye, everyone. We'll be right back with our next show.
Bye-bye.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book, Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
USA Global TV and Radio, in partnership with Dr. JACALYN LLC, present Amazon #1 best-selling author Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Dr. JACALYN KERBECK is a certified life, career, and executive coach who teaches people how to listen at an elevated level through her courses and her books. Dr. KERBECK teaches her clients how to open their hearts and express themselves through their creative genius. In her children's book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the listening mentor, Dr. KERBECK teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level. Dr. KERBECK has worked with clients across the world to guide them in how to express themselves and communicate at a highly effective level. Join our team of elevated listeners so you can listen without judgment, without providing a solution, without interruption, and without stealing the stage. To order your books today, go to drjacalyn.com or Amazon.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
From the magical world of The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella comes a heartwarming new journey filled with kindness, courage, and compassion. Lady Ella, the beloved ladybug and listening mentor, is back, and this time she is not alone. Meet her brave and thoughtful brother, Lord Jack. Together, they take flight on their very first kindness adventure. Along the way, they meet 3 new friends in need: a duck feeling discouraged, a mouse struggling to be understood, and a busy little bee who's completely lost. But with the power of elevated listening and simple acts of kindness, Lady Ella and Lord Jack show us how understanding and empathy can make the biggest difference in someone's day. Written by Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the listening mentor, this 9th book in the best-selling Lady Ella series teaches children ages 5 to 10 the essential skills of listening, kindness, and etiquette. Now available for pre-order on Amazon. Scan the QR code and order your copy today.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.